Hi there, it's Frank Klesitz with Vyral Marketing, the CEO, with Deanne today out of Washington, D.C., who's using our services very well. Not even our services. She's getting herself on video. She's sending out videos to everyone she knows. She's on YouTube, demonstrating her expertise, and it's working for her, and she's getting business, and she's selling houses. So Deanne, thanks for coming.
You're welcome. It's been great working with you guys this year.
So you've been selling real estate since 2003. Long time.
Yes, very long time.
And you've had probably how many people try to sell you stuff as a realtor since 2003?
Oh, I can't even count it. So many.
I'd like to go deep into today, why you give us money and why you do this. Of all the options available to you to get business as a real estate agent, give us a little backstory, maybe how a light bulb went off where maybe you should start getting on YouTube or start sending out video to your database. Like that. What was the light bulb or the moment of need or moment of clarity that maybe you should look into that?
Sure. So I've been to, a ton of real estate conferences where they try to tell you that video is the next thing and it's really where you need to be. And I think I've always just had a fear of being in front of the camera. So I always hesitated. And it really wasn't until last fall I had a client tell me that they had been through multiple real estate transactions in other states, and they felt that in the transaction with me, they learned more than they had in all of the other transactions combined. And they actually were the ones who said, you really should get like a YouTube channel and start answering these questions because these are things that people want to know. And I can tell that you're really passionate about kind of the education side of real estate and making sure your clients are empowered to make decisions. So they were really the ones who gave me the push to do it, and found you guys, and it was a great fit.
So you got encouragement from a client that said that you're really smart and all the other agents don't know anything.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Well, you're a good agent. I mean, you're not, it doesn't sound like you're, about 35 deals a year is where you're at in DC?
Yeah. So, and part of that is, I think I mentioned when I had first talked to you guys that I've relocated markets several times. So I started out in Austin, and then I was mostly in Northern Virginia, and then I actually moved back to Texas. It was in Dallas. So I've only been back in the DC market for about 4 years now. And I really had to start from zero because when I moved, I never thought I would be back.
Isn't that a punch in the face every time you build up your real estate business, then you have to move?
Yeah. I mean, I always tell new agents that 3 years is kind of like the gold mine where you know that you're set and you have, you start getting referral business coming in pretty consistently. And that was about the time frame that I moved each time I moved. So it was tough.
And you started from scratch every time.
Mm-hmm.
So since you started from scratch a few times, just give the audience a little insight to like your fourth time starting from scratch. What did you do?
Yeah, so I was probably most nervous about this move because I was moving back to an area that I had some success with, but I was here when the market crashed. So the last taste in my mouth of DC area real estate was not a good one. And so I was very anxious about it, but I knew it was important to build up my database of people and my sphere of influence here locally very quickly. So that was kind of what I put my focus on, and, really just I started adding people to talk to. And that's honestly why Vyral was such a good fit for me, because I had people that were there. They just weren't getting communicated to frequently. And, maybe with a newsletter, but not with really quality content. And that's been the difference.
How did you do it? How did you get into a new market and start adding people to your database, which is no more than putting people on your newsletter, basically?
Yeah. So it's a combination of things. I mean, real estate wise, I did some, our office does SEO marketing and things like that, where we were getting, real buyers in. And then we started doing things like home buyer seminars, open houses, of course, and then just as a whole, to build up my sphere, I'm actually really involved in my community. So I get involved in charitable organizations that I have a passion for, and I've really been able to connect with a lot of new people that way.
Got it. Okay. So your office helps you out with a little bit of getting people in front of you. I like the reaching out to invite people to seminars, and then you had some leads coming in online. But
we had some great luck with homebuyer seminars because we work with a lot of first-time home buyers, and a lot of my past clients when I first got here were actually rental clients. And I think a lot of agents are really hesitant to work rentals because the pay, of course, is not really there. But if you start in a new market and you have no one, and you're the agent that's a go-to and really a helpful person to renters, you can be those are great people to add because in our market, they're paying a lot of money for rent.
So before we did our interview, you have 1,113 contacts in your database.
Mm-hmm.
What's the criteria for one of those individuals in your database?
For me, I'm pretty selective. I've had to have a conversation at least with them. So it's not just an internet lead that, never responded when I called. If it's someone who reached out about a specific property, of course I would add them. But if it was just someone who reached out to our office as like a general thing, I won't necessarily add them right away until I speak to them, because I want to make sure that they're wanting the information. And I've actually found really good response rate that way, because I guess I'm a little more selective, and I kind of tell people like, oh, if you want the good stuff, you got to be on the list. So.
Yeah. And I think was it Lindsay, your broker?
Yes.
Took the recruiting class?
Mm-hmm. She does.
Because you heard of us through Lindsay, who's your broker.
Yes. So one of the big things with our company is business planning. And when I sat down with her at the end of last year to plan for 2021, I had mentioned that one of my clients had brought up video. And I said that was something I was really wanting to look into. She had actually just started working with you guys and had success, really felt like it was a great program. And so that's how I reached out.
How many people a month or a week? I mean, you're consistently adding people you talk to your database. How many people are you adding to your list, let's say, in a given month?
It varies.
Sounds
obviously.
like something you track.
I don't even know. I don't really track it. We use Follow Up Boss for our CRM. So as people get added, I don't necessarily count. I just shoot a new list to you guys every month. So I would say every month is probably.
Isn't Follow Up Boss great?
Yeah, I love it. It's
great,
such a great
it?
system.
Yeah. It is.
It varies anywhere from 25 to 100, I guess, per month.
That's fantastic. Those are conversations you're having. You meet them. You say, hey, I send videos out on what's going on in real estate in DC. Do you want to get them? They're probably like, sure. Then you get their real email address and you throw them to Follow Up Boss. And then once a month, you double from Follow Up Boss over to us. So they get your communications, right? Boom. Topics.
It works really well.
So this is one of the reasons I want to talk to you. Is you got encouragement not from a vendor trying to sell you on it. You got encouragement from clients that said, I want to hear from you. And that's pretty cool, right? So I think you're coming with you're coming with to your videos a little higher standard of like, I want to do an actual good job. So talk to me about how you come up with your topics and how you do a good job sending stuff out to your list.
Actually, the first topic list that I came up with was I reached back out to my clients after the ones that had told me about YouTube. And I said, hey, I've really been thinking a lot about what you mentioned to me. I'm ready to start doing it. Can you send me some things that you felt were really helpful in the transaction that you learned? And so they actually sent me a list of probably 8 to 10 things that some of them were super specific to their deal. So they weren't necessarily the right topic for a broad reaching video, but some of the things they sent were great. And then I just, reach back out to my clients and try to find out things that are interesting to them. Or if someone mentions during a transaction, like, oh, that was particularly interesting, or I didn't know about that or whatever, I try to write those down and save them for future months.
How much work does it take for you to sit down and actually come up with what you're going to say?
Not that much, because I have so much experience. I think I usually just do a really quick outline.
Darn, you're almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I usually just do a quick outline with like topic and then however many bullet points I need to hit. And then I kind of free flow it. And the thing I love about Vyral is I don't have to hit it perfect from the beginning. There can be mess ups and I need to start that over, and you guys go back and edit and it comes out perfect. It looks like I spent hours on it and I really don't. So that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah. We just interview you. We actually get you on this service. We're actually recording this, not on Zoom. We use a product called Riverside. Go check it out, riverside.fm. And what's nice is my video is recording right to my hard drive as opposed to the stream. And then Dana, your video is recording right to your hard drive. So the videos are lossless. And then we get the lossless videos into editing and we can cut it up so it looks smooth, which is really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I think the first couple of videos I did, I was anxious about because, I was not practiced at it. I hadn't been in front of the camera, but the more I've gotten to work with you, the more trust I have in my team to know what I'm trying to say. And if there's something that isn't correct or whatever, I've only had one time where I had to go back and re-record something, but pretty much every time I've been able to give them enough content to come out with a great video. And it looks like I spent hours.
Great. Good. What would you say is some of your most popular video topics that you send out that you think your audience wants to hear?
I think really one of the earlier ones I did that was like top seller myths. Our market is a very strong sellers market, as is most of the country, I'm sure right now. And we get a lot of like, oh, it's so easy to sell my house. I don't need XYZ. And I guess like tips or myths relation to that has been really great because I don't know, people are just interested in that. I think it's contrary to what the market might tell you or what the news might tell you. It's a little harder to sell a house, in my opinion, in a seller's market sometimes because it's the getting from contract to close that's a bigger hurdle.
There's been talk for years about how real estate agents are going to go away. And I said that'll happen when human behavior shifts of a very large emotional sale. And the emotions that are going on and how the seller will screw the whole thing up because they refuse to pay $200 for a termite inspection. And you have to go do the therapy to make that happen. That's where you earn your commission, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm very aware.
It's definitely just putting a sign in the yard and saying my house is for sale. You're going to get people interested right now because the market's so crazy, but just knowing what to do with those people is invaluable. I mean, someone with years of experience can really make that an easy process, or it can be really difficult if you don't have the right person in your corner.
So you built your list. You're a social networking machine. You talk to people. You know what you're talking about. You have 20 years of experience. You made a very deliberate choice to make sure you capture contact information. That's a key takeaway here. You have made a very deliberate choice that when you talk to somebody, you get their contact information, you put them in a database. When did you mature to focus on that? Tell me, I mean, at what point in your career were you like, I probably should do that?
Yeah, honestly, it was this last move. And it's crazy to say that it took me so long, but I was very lucky early in my career because I think I have a natural ability to be a networker. And so I, stay in touch with people, and it might be only through social media, or it might only be through, one channel that's not email or mailing address or whatever. And so I got business a lot of times because people would just remember that I was a realtor and they would reach out to me. But what I found was I was missing a lot of people that I touched in some way, like over time, because I didn't really keep in touch with them because maybe I just met them in passing, or, I met them at an open house or what have you. And so when I made the move to DC this last time, I was like, look, this is home for me for the foreseeable future. My husband works for the baseball team here, so we're not going anywhere until he retires. And so I really said, I want to build my business to last. And to me, that's the ongoing referral people and the past clients and all of that. And I really needed contact info to do that. So
you made a deliberate choice to sit down, actually capture it, put it in your follow-up boss, which is your CRM. And then you sit down with us and actually shoot the videos, predominantly encouraged by, people asking to make them, and that's the best, isn't it?
It really was honestly honor. Like, it was an honor to me when they asked that, because I just felt like, to me, what I love about real estate is really empowering people to make decisions for themselves, making sure they have all the information to make a good decision so that they don't have buyer's remorse, so they don't, feel anxious about the purchase. I want to make sure they feel comfortable. And part of that is education. And so because that is something that means so much to me, to have a client recognize that and say, you really should be sharing this with more people, not just your individual clients, that meant a lot to me. So
that is cool. So we talked about you build your database. We talked about that you send out content as a legitimate newsletter, not a bunch of canned crap that's out in the space because your audience didn't want that, especially probably in a very educated market that you're in.
Yes.
I mean, what is, what is your typical sales price there? Million?
Yeah. I mean, my average first time buyer is spending $500,000 to $750,000, which is crazy to think about. I mean, that's just.
And even with such an educated market, with relatively, simple real estate videos, the market still wants to know what you have to say. And I think there has to be a really limiting belief you have to get rid of like, everyone's as smart as I am. But clearly they're not. You have expertise. You really do.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
and that was cool to hear that.
It's been years, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you're sending these videos out. I think people get it. You have your 33 touch in place, your long-term nurture program. But, I really want to move into how do you know this is working? Specifically with my first question is we send you the open and click report. We give you all the people that open the email, all the people that click, maybe people bring up the videos, people maybe reply back. How do you know this is worth the effort?
So for me, the open click videos, everything is, or list that you guys send is so fantastic, but I'll be completely honest, like everything that where I knew it was working right away was the feedback coming in that I got from clients. So I actually had people texting me, emailing me, responding to the email, reaching out to me and asking like, hey, you know, I know you talked about this. Can you answer this? Or, hey, I was thinking about this and I saw your video. This was really great. And that to me was even above and beyond the click list. Cause I mean, I feel like that's great. But when people reach out, it's like, oh, this is really working. So
yeah, awesome. Well, it's there if you wanted. All the people that open and click and follow up, right?
I do use it, but those people that call me are the hot ones. You know, they really are invested in what I'm sending and they want to know, you know, if it's home value or they want to know what the market's doing. A lot of people just want to keep in touch, which is really nice. You know, I think there's a statistic and I don't know, I won't tell you the exact numbers. I'm sure you probably know them, but where they say a certain high percentage of people would use their same realtor again. But then when they interview them, you know, 2 years later, whatever, they can't even name that person. And that's crazy to think about because so much of our business should be, you know, building that long lasting relationship with those clients because it just makes everything so much easier.
What do you think? You've seen all the different ways to sell real estate, cold calling, marketing, database. Why do you think you've gravitated toward this methodology, this philosophy of building a business?
For me, I think it's just a natural fit. You know, my like being in life is kind of being a connector and a networker. And I really, I like to be that person that everyone goes to for like, oh, what's the best restaurant here? Or what's going on this weekend in DC or what have you. And so, I think that's just kind of come naturally to me is to be that resource for people. And so because that's how I am in normal life, it just kind of translated over to real estate as well. And it's just a warmer you
found a way that matches your behavior style to get business. Mm-hmm. What about the other stuff that we do for you? We put together some all text emails that drive leads, landing pages. I'm sure you know about that. What are some other things that you like that Vyral does that's helpful?
The all text emails are great. I just sent out one a couple of weeks ago. That was a state of the market, kind of what's going on. It's still a seller's market here. And I think that's one thing that, you know, people have really been keeping an eye on because it has slowed down a little bit here, but homes that are priced well and show well still sell with multiple offers very quickly. And so what people are seeing as a whole in the market is not necessarily each individual situation. So that was a great email because I think 5 people reach out to me for home values. You know, people that necessarily aren't moving right now, but it's a great touch point to kind of keep a pulse on what's going on in the market.
Yeah, because I'd like to send about maybe 2 videos a month to your database. And then every now and then, maybe monthly, every 2 months is kind of spike response with like a kind of what we call a direct offer email where it's like, hey, maybe find out what your home is worth, get an offer on your home, search for homes, where they kind of click a link in the email to go drive them to opt in or register for something, or even maybe register for a workshop. Mm-hmm. What do you need help with? What could Vyral do better? And what could we help you more with?
I don't know. You guys are so great. It's hard to say. I don't know. I mean, you guys really have a great support. I think anytime I've had trouble coming up with video topics, y'all always send out emails of like popular topics. And I don't necessarily like to replicate exactly what someone else has done, of course. But if there's a topic about buyers that is something I saw recently, it kind of just jogs my memory as to something good. I don't know, man. You guys do such a great job. It's really hard to think of anything.
Thank you.
You didn't prepare me for that question either. So,
well, no, it's a good question. I mean, I got a lot of good information out from you. I just want to kind of maybe switch it to almost a coaching call. There's a lot we can do. It sounds like you really like these workshops.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just give you a little tip maybe you can use to help you out. So, when you host a workshop, do people go register on Eventbrite? Or how do they register?
Yes.
Okay. So
we do Eventbrite.
Perfect. So you set up an Eventbrite page, register for the workshop, right?
Yeah. There's a Facebook landing page that also connects to Eventbrite because it's all linked.
So do you send an email out to your database to get people to register?
Yes. Our brokerage does that. So
do you do it?
Not personally, but I should probably.
You could. And what you could do is ask them if it's the brokerage kind of page, ask them to give you a tracking link. So all of the people who register that come from you, you'll know.
Oh, that's smart.
Because it's probably the brokerage leads, right? But if you put a tracking link in there, you would
yes and no. Because if we have people in Follow Up Boss that we've invited and it goes to the broker link, it tracks back to us. Okay, so perfect. We do some stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So getting an email out to your list to get them to register. All right. Are you spending any money on Facebook advertising? We recommend $5 a day. I know it's $150 a month.
Yeah, when we do events, we do for sure. I haven't really done too much in just regular ads, but yes.
I think if there was some money to be spent, $150 a month to take everyone who visits your website, your blog that you built this, or maybe even everyone who visits the brokerage blog, as well as everyone who's in your database, all 1,300 or so people. And we post your videos on Facebook, which is also Instagram and all the other places that Facebook integrates with. Putting a little money behind those, you'll be on the news feeds of those contacts all the time. So that's we find that to be probably like if you're going to spend money on online advertising, the very first place you go is $5 a day, if that, to be in front of all your warm audiences on Facebook. So you're there all the time on email, right? We could take those same emails, upload them to Facebook, and spend a little money to be in front of them on social media if you wanted. Are you doing the direct mail part of the program?
No.
Did you know there was one?
No.
There is.
I think it was mentioned to me at the very beginning, but I was very overwhelmed by we got to do videos. So
well, you're doing a very good job. But maybe just to round out a little bit is a little money on Facebook for your posts, if you wanted. And then also we take your 2 posts a month and we turn it into a 1-page letter, actual letter. And if you wanted, again, it's more money, but it's probably running about 80 cents a letter. But your top couple hundred contacts, like your A-list people, the people that refer to you, snail mail them your videos. So they actually get them. Yeah. So little small things, there's a little extra money. I mean, you got to pay Facebook, you got to pay the post office, but there are little extra ways to go a little bit deeper in your list if you wanted to take the risk and, be in front of people more often to get that stat up where they remember who you are.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So sum it up. I mean, how do you're paying us good money to help you out. And I appreciate that. And I honor that and say thank you. I really try to build a great company. There's about 60 people that work at Vyral, 60 employees here. Sum up your experience as far as what is the major benefit of working with us?
I think the thing for me is kind of what I mentioned, staying in front of clients with really quality content. So just, I think anyone can send out a newsletter. You can send out, here's my new listings. But if someone's not in the market to buy or sell, those new listings don't necessarily mean much to them. It's just like, oh, she's doing business. That's great. But having like actual videos with quality information for people, I'm surprised, honestly, at the number of people that watch them that are not in any point in a transaction where it would be really relevant to them, because I think it's more of just a like, hey, I trust what she has to say. And this is good information for some point. So it's really just staying in front of people with quality stuff. And I think a lot of agents struggle with, keeping in touch with people with a reason to call. And gives people a reason to call, because if you aren't keeping in touch with them ever, and you are supposed to make a call quarterly or monthly or whatever, you're going to be like making a call to a stranger. It's really not different than cold calling. But if you're in their inbox twice a month with your face and telling them something valuable, picking up the phone and calling them is like, I was just talking to you last week. It's not so scary. And it gives you an opening point, basically.
Isn't it nice if you call people, they know who you are and they remember you?
Yes.
So there's not so much friction.
Yeah.
That's what good marketing does. It should reduce the friction of the conversation where you're not some stranger. They know who you are and they respect you, to make the conversations like easier. All right.
This was great.
Well, Deanne, thank you so much. We're all done.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you guys all for making my life easier.
And for those of you watching, you can go get the video marketing plan that she's following on the homepage of our website. Go to getvyral.com, download the video marketing plan. And I also teach marketing class every single Monday for an hour. If you want to go really deep with me and learn how to get the most out of the program, feel free to enroll in our Vyral marketing classroom that I teach every single Monday. And the syllabus is up on the website. So I'll let you go. If you have any referrals in DC, reach out to you. What's the address of your blog?
Lifeinmoco.com. So I'm in Montgomery County, right outside of DC is where I live. So it's a lot of fun stuff there.
Cool. All right. Thanks so much.